Why we worship nature. More than science will ever know the forgotten wisdom of Africa's ancestors.
Ah, Omo, that is a fine question. Science is but the language we use to try to explain the Creator's work, but it will never capture the full mystery of it. Science tries to explain nature, but it will never be nature.
Welcome back, lovely people. Today, we will speak of why we worship nature. More than science will ever know the forgotten wisdom of Africa's ancestors. Imagine this, a classroom in the embrace of nature, shaded by the ancient and majestic baobab tree. The air hums with the symphony of chirping birds and rustling leaves, as if nature herself were the background choir. Baba Dirisu, a wise elder with a radiant smile and a voice as steady as the earth, sits on a low stool. Before him are curious African children, bright-eyed and eager, seated on woven mats. Around them sit white adult learners, captivated by the wisdom unfolding before them. Baba Dirisu surveys the gathering with a knowing gaze, his eyes shimmering with ancestral wisdom. Raising his hand gently, he silences the quiet murmurs. He begins, his voice resonant.
Today, we will speak of why our ancestors revered and worshipped the divine forces of nature. Ask your questions, my children, for like the wind scatters seeds, answers will take root where they are needed.
Baba, why did our ancestors worship things like the wind and water?
Baba strokes his beard thoughtfully.
Ah, my child, let me ask you this. Can you live without the wind, without water?
He pauses, letting the weight of the question settle. Then, with a smile, he continues.
The ancestors understood what we often forget. It is we who need these forms of nature, not the other way around. The wind carries the breath of life. It whispers gently to cool your face, but can rage fiercely to uproot a tree or bring down a mighty airplane. And water, fresh and pure, flows from the earth to quench your thirst and nourish your body. These elements are the Creator's direct gifts, each carrying the Creator's divine essence. That is why our ancestors revered nature and worshipped the divine forces divinities who govern these elements. You may understand them as gods, but they are sacred channels through which the Creator sustains us. To honor them was to honor the Creator's sacred balance of life.
But Baba, isn't that just science?
Baba chuckles, his laughter warm and rich like the earth after rain.
Ah, Omo, that is a fine question. Science is but the language we use to try to explain the Creator's work, but it will never capture the full mystery of it. Science tries to explain nature, but it will never be nature. The wind blows where it wishes, and no scientist can stop it. Water carves its way through mountains and valleys, needing no instruction. Our ancestors didn't need laboratories to know that the wind carries seeds to grow trees, or that water quenches thirst. They understood its power and sacredness. Water is water, whether it flows in Africa, Asia, or the Americas. The wind is the wind, whether it dances over the Sahara or whispers through the Alps. Nature is universal, made by the Creator. Religion, however, is made by man. Through nature, humanity connected directly to the Creator, but through religion, man connects to his own creations, imaginations, agendas, ambitions, and desires. Nature united all of humanity. Nature still unites us, for the wind is the wind everywhere, just as all forms of nature are universal everywhere. Even today, those who walk the ancestral path access the Creator through the unfiltered sacred works of the Creator's hands. Nature.
So, Baba, why don't we worship nature anymore?
Baba's face softens with sadness, and his voice grows heavy.
Ah, my dear child, times have changed. Today, water comes from bottles or pipes, and the means to acquire it is tied to money. Money comes from jobs, and jobs come from other humans. The cycle is now about dependence on man, not nature. Our ancestors drank from springs, streams, and rivers, knowing that if they preserved these sources, they would have pure water forever. Compare that to today, where bottled water less pure and wrapped in plastic requires allegiance to currency and those who control it. The allegiance has shifted from nature, which provides freely, to man, who charges for its replacement. Think of it again, my child. Now, we revere the ones who give us salaries, for it is through them that we buy bottled water, less pure than the spring. Our ancestors preserved nature because they knew it preserved them. But today, we destroy nature, forgetting that without it, we will destroy ourselves. This example given reflects all aspects of life. It extends beyond the waters to the shelter over our heads, the food that nourishes our bodies, the safety of our children, the protection of our lands, and so much more. The list is as infinite as the blessings nature provides, encompassing every thread of existence that sustains us.
What can we do, Baba? Is it too late to return to the ways of our ancestors?
Baba's face brightens with hope, and his voice takes on a gentle authority.
Ah, my dear ones, it is not too late. The Creator has given us time, but not forever. We must return to the ways of respect, preservation, and balance. Protect your rivers and springs. Honor the wind and soil, and remember that you are part of nature, not separate from it. Teach your children that what we destroy today, they will not have tomorrow. This is how we can prevent the complete destruction. If you nurture the earth, it will nurture you in return. This is the path of wisdom, and we must walk it together.
Reflection and invitation. Baba Dirisu rises, spreading his arms toward the group.
Reflect on the ways of your ancestors, and imagine a world where nature provided all your needs, as it did for our ancestors. No taxes, no debt, no inflation, no bottled water. Instead, springs flowed freely, and the earth gave generously. They lived in harmony with nature, where all needs were met. Now compare that life to today's world, where we hustle endlessly, chasing salaries to buy what nature once gave freely. Were our ancestors wrong, or have we simply forgotten their wisdom? Were they not wiser than we give them credit for? We still have time to preserve what remains. The wind still whispers its ancient songs. The rivers still flow with life. The earth still yields its nourishing fruits. And the elders, ever present, remain to guide us with their wisdom. Let us return to these sacred ways, so they will not be forever lost.
A poem to reflect. Baba recites the poem by Nana Musamali Nangoli, his voice steady and strong.
Once upon a time in Africa, we paid no taxes. There was no crime. There was no police. There was no inflation. There was no unemployment. There was no AIDS. There was no poverty. There was no famine. There was no corruption. There was no debt crisis. There was no prostitution. Men didn't beat or divorce their wives. Then the white man came to improve things.
Wow, did you get the sarcasm in this poem? Did you get the sarcasm at the end of Baba Dirisu's recitation? Closing words. Baba Dirisu smiles warmly at the children and the adults.
May the thinking of your minds be nourished by the joys of this light. Let us rise with the wind of wisdom and preserve the earth for generations to come. Now go forth and teach this knowledge to your children and to other willing hearts.
And with that, the class disperses, each male child bowing and each girl kneeling in gratitude to Baba Dirisu's teachings. Their hearts full and their minds alight with the brilliance of ancestral wisdom. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the Meritah Wisdom YouTube channel for more of these stories of enlightenment, ancestral wisdom and cultural heritage.